and welcome to OnCamera, a video interview series where we chat with some of our experts here at Onfido. Today, we're chatting to Neal Cohen, Onfido's Director of Privacy, about why privacy is so important to us as a company, our approach to privacy, and how he thinks the privacy space could develop over the next few years. So, without further ado, let's meet our guest. Hi Neal, thank you for joining us today.
Hi Charlotte, thanks for having me.
No worries. Before we kick off, could you maybe tell us a bit about what you do at Onfido?
Sure. So at Onfido, I am the Director of Privacy and I'm on the legal team. And it's really my role to design and build out our privacy program. And for Onfido, there's really two big challenges in doing that. One is making sure that we are doing everything we need to do to use data properly when we're providing our services, when providing those just-in-time identity verification checks. But likewise, we have a whole other challenge of using personal data to build our technologies, to train our machine learning models. So that also needs to be solved as well.
Mm-hmm. And so I suppose at Onfido, we're a B2B company, so we obviously don't deal with individuals specifically, but rather the businesses. But how do you think that individuals do you think they're starting to pay more attention to privacy? And how does that kind of reflect how we interact with other businesses?
Yes and no. I definitely think that privacy has entered the public debate far more than it's been present in the past. We're constantly seeing it in the news. We're constantly seeing privacy issues being discussed. But what I'm not yet sure about is if people are making buying decisions over privacy. I think it's one thing to say, yes, you're concerned about privacy. It's another to stop using a service and to, use something else to really reflect your stance. Once that happens and we see privacy really then enter the realm of marketing and buying decisions, I think that would represent a big shift. But I'm not sure we're quite there yet.
And what do you think maybe could change so that we'd get there?
It's a difficult question. I think there might need to be reduced barriers to entries for new services. So, for example, we have much of the world uses the same social network, and there's been a lot of high-profile issues about that social network. But you're somewhat locked in. You don't really have a lot of other choices because that's where all of your friends and families are. So I don't know how much choice we have and where privacy can then enter that realm of a differentiation. Once we have more choices and we can really see the privacy differences and how it impacts us as people, I think that might open up the possibility of more consumer choice.
So I guess then bringing it back to kind of Onfido and how we operate as a company, why is privacy so important to us?
So at Onfido, we are an AI company that does identity verification. So we are reviewing identity documents, selfies, videos. We're using biometrics. This is really important information. It can really have a significant impact on a person. So a lot of it is making sure we're doing the right thing, that we are protecting people, not just as a business necessity, but because it's the right thing to do. We really are trying to provide a public good. We believe in what we're doing. We want to make sure we're going about it the right way. With that said, it is undeniable that privacy is fully aligned with our business objective. If our clients, those business entities, aren't able to use our technologies, to use our services with their consumers in a ways that protects them, protects the privacy of their end users, then no one will want to use our technology. We spoke a little bit ago about consumers making decisions based on privacy. And there I'm a little reluctant to say we fully reached that point. But for businesses, I think we have. I think businesses are absolutely making decisions based on privacy. It's risk, it's liability, and it's a careful decision at every point of buying in the supply chain.
Well, that's good to know. So I guess how then would you summarize Onfido's privacy approach?
So because we are a B2B to C company, so business to consumer, that creates a lot of challenges, particularly because we are building a complex artificial intelligence, which means we are this individual entity who's making this technology. Hundreds and hundreds, not thousands of companies then buying it, and they are then making it available to people. And so you have this divide in knowledge about what our clients might know about technology and then what those end users might know. So what we're doing at Onfido is really trying to empower our clients with information, with controls over data, so they can then provide those tools, provide that information to those end users to try and protect those people, to allow as much control as possible. But that complex supply chain that we're now seeing with AI technologies, I think that's something relatively new, and we're still grappling with how to really handle those issues.
Yeah, so we say that we're doing all these things to kind of for our privacy approach, but can you give some examples of it in action?
Yeah, because we are dealing with these new issues, we think it's something that deserves a public debate. We don't think they should be solved in isolation. So, in that regard, we are one of the first participants in the UK Data Protection's new privacy sandbox. And participating with the government, working with the government, we're able to talk about technology, to discuss the privacy choices that we're able to make. And specifically in that work, what we've been doing is trying to see how we can measure and mitigate algorithmic bias in our facial recognition technology, which has some very sensitive human rights concerns. But by working with the regulator, we can try and make choices together. Likewise, the company has been very supportive and enabled me personally to work with Harvard University at the Carr Center for Human Rights Policy, or have the opportunity again to talk to people about what we're building, how it impacts larger society, and really get that feedback from a wider range of audience about what we might want to do, how we can make our technology work best for everybody, so the technology is able to advance, and like people and then their rights are able to advance as well.
Yeah, and it sounds really like that collaborative effort is what's going to kind of move things forwards, rather than us just focusing on it primarily as our own company, which is really interesting.
I think that's right. I think there's a danger that technology companies can get quite isolated in their viewpoints. They will be within their own bubble, and it's important to get views from outside individuals, whether it's government, the public, academics. Really, just the wider range of inputs is really important to challenge our own thinking and to make sure we're consistently moving forward.
And so I guess talking about moving forward, how do you think privacy, the area, is going to develop over the next few years? Do you see kind of new regulations coming through, or will businesses start to look at things differently?
So at the moment, I think we're in a period of hyper growth in privacy regulations. We're constantly hearing about countries introducing new privacy laws. In the United States, many of the individual states are introducing an increasing number of privacy laws that they're trying to push through. But the challenge it presents is privacy and data it's something that's moving very quickly. And when you have a data-driven product or service, you're operating in many different geographies, subject to many different laws. And so we need a harmonization. There needs to be a converging. And I think that is something that will happen more in time. I think privacy laws are trying to reflect the values that we hold in society. In some countries, these values might be a bit different, so the laws themselves will be a bit different. But I think the trend is to try and find this commonality to be able to provide services and technologies in a way that just at its core protects people. And if you're trying to protect people, I think that'll keep you on the right path.
Absolutely. I think you've nailed it there, that the main goal of it is protecting our businesses that we work with and the customers that they serve as well. Great. Thank you, Neal. That was really insightful for me, and hopefully for everyone else who was watching.
Thanks for having me, Charlotte. It was really great to speak with you today.